Hey, everybody. Shabbat Nobody Else's Auto, 7 o'clock Sunday evening, time from Sunday Night Live Chat. Glad to see some of you back tonight. Looks like we are connecting on Facebook as well. Ryan and Amy are here. David W. is here. Bill Wagaman's on with us. Obviously, big game going on right now, so I know a lot of people are tied up with that. We talked about this over the last few weeks about what we wanted to do tonight. Jim's here. Cars are better than football any day. Good call. But I know a lot of people are watching the game. So we decided, well, I'll go ahead and put together a small episode. We'll see who gets on, hangs out for a little bit tonight, and we'll do some basics, talk about what's going on, do a promo, do some badges, and then see how things go from there. So Mark's on with us, Shadowless Tony, Kevin L, Pete's here, Brian Dispatch. So some of you decided to come hang out with us tonight. Glad to see it. Looks like we've got a few people starting to jump on Facebook as well. Big job made it. Lee from New York. Doug's here. So anyway, Scott's on. So a few people aren't watching the game. That's okay. Glad you're here. Frank's here. Like I said, I've got everything ready. We can do as much as we want or as little as we want tonight. We'll see how things go. Number one's here. Jason Withrow's here. Gary Dahmer's on. Michael Glagola's on Facebook with us from New Jersey. How many cats? There's Gray Kitty and one black one over here. We only got two in here tonight. So, right, Gray Kitty? Yeah, I can see you. They're asking about you. I told you they're going to ask about you. You don't care. So, anyway, Dad's here with us. But what's been going on? Well, one thing that I just checked, I knew it was coming up, and technically tonight would be our 3-year anniversary. Yep. We've been doing this for 3 crazy years, which is nutso to me. Number one's watching with one eye and listening with one ear, but he's here. That's all right. We're glad you're here. February 9th of 2020 was the first time I jumped on a Sunday night, kind of on a whim, just as kind of an information session about finding parts. And here we are 3 years later, where we've evolved into this big group of people that like to hang out and talk about old cars. So appreciate all you guys helping build what it is. I appreciate all you guys that have brought your friends into the chat, brought them into the group, and help them hang out with us. But yeah, February 9th of 2020. So this would technically be the closest Sunday to our 3-year anniversary of doing this crazy thing. So Alex is here with us. Yep, I'm glad you enjoy it, Gary. But yep, it's crazy that it's been 3 years. But you guys still like coming back. You still like hanging out. I guess we'll keep working on it. I'll keep trying to make it better from my end. But yeah, Michael, I'm feeling a lot better. Everything's pretty much, for now, passed. My throat's pretty good. I'm rolling pretty good. So, but anyway, crazy to think about. But yep, 3 years of this. So we'll see how long it keeps going. Mark says, "How's the caddy coming?" That was in my notes as well. The 39 Cadillac. We threw up another video Friday night of the 39 Cadillac going back together. The low mileage original car that Dad bought in pieces. They'd had the engine overhauled in 1981 and never put it back together. So Sean's here with us. But if you didn't catch the video Friday night, go back and check that out. We had it running a couple weeks ago, but just got it fired up and let it run for a little bit and then shut it off. We had some more video of it running because my dad and his friend Jay got the radiator mounted in the car. We got coolant in it. We actually let the thing sit there and run for about 30 minutes on the stand, on jack stands the other day, and got everything checked over. Found a few small leaks, some things that needed tightened up, but nothing major whatsoever. And we got the front clip back on the car. Got the front bumper back on. Dad and Jay got started getting all the wiring run as far as lights and things like that. So it's coming together nicely. Let's see. Ryan and Amy, they start watching on Sunday night and finish another day. So they have to get up at 4 a.m. Central every day. Well, that doesn't sound like any fun at all. So hopefully we're going to have another video where we take the 39 Cadillac out for a spin here sooner rather than later. So But yep, that we had had some clips of it running, but we actually let it run for probably 30 minutes sitting there on jack stands, just so we could see all the way around everything before we put the front clip on. And like I said, tightened up a couple little things, looked pretty good. We got the front clip slid back on, front bumpers on, headlights are wired up, and it's getting really close. So excited about that. Check out that video because we'll be bringing you another one on that hopefully very soon. What else happened this week? Kevin said it sounded good. Yeah, that thing did sound good considering that engine it was overhauled in 81 and hadn't been touched since. So, yep, it's kind of blank back here, isn't it, number one? That's a good point. It some of them shipped already. I've still got a few of them that haven't shipped, but yep, some of those are on the way to their new owners, and the rest of those will be going this week. So, little bear back there. I need to put a shelf up for the boxes for this month, but kind of blank after looking at all that cool stuff that Randy did for us over the last several weeks. But anyway, I hauled some cars this week. Went to an antique show this week. A little town called Larned, about 20 miles west of here. They have an antique show every year this time of the year. Excuse me, but it is a small one, like 20 some vendors. It's not very big. I hadn't been to it in years. You know, I remember going as a little kid, we'd go over and kind of see if there's anything cool, but I hadn't been in years. Every year I keep saying, I'm going to go. And I never do. So finally, Friday, I told Shayla, I said, let's go ahead and run over there. So we ran over there on Friday, and I did find a few cool things, even though it was a small show. But I got a super cool toy that's for me that we're going to check out on Toy Tuesday. Got a toy or two that are in the auction box. Got some toys that are in the raffle box. Got some license plates. And I got a super cool catalog. We're going to have to check that catalog out. We're going to slide that catalog in probably for a magazine on an upcoming Sunday because this catalog is so cool. And it's small, so it won't be a real big deal. So Ken's here with us. But I do have a super cool toy. It works. And we're going to be checking that out on Toy Tuesday. So I was glad that I went because, like I said, I hadn't been in so many years. But was glad I went and picked up some cool stuff. Scott, stumbled upon the channel about a year ago. Always watched the vids. Met you at the auction in Kansas City. Love old cars. Have a couple. Glad you're here, Scott. Yep, I remember meeting you. So Ken's here with us. Glad you're hanging out with us. That's right. Good point, Gary. I bet you guys are getting a little thirsty. We better get caught up here. Good point. My bad. I kind of got a little worked up about the 3-year thing. That kind of threw me off course. So we'll keep it flowing a little more frequently. How's that? Anyway, Dan's here with us. Raymond's here. Ken. Tony's on with us. Kevin's ready to go. So anyway, that's kind of about what I did this week. And I did pick up a few things. Even though some of it was newer stuff, it was still kind of cool stuff. We'll get to that. We get the new inventory. Like I talked about earlier, we are do have a short episode planned for tonight unless you guys want more. We'll look at a promo. We'll do the badges and the emblems, and then we'll talk about the raffle and new inventory. I did not plan auctions or a magazine for tonight. I've got a magazine here. I've got auctions ready just because I always do. There's always stuff in the boxes if anybody thinks we really need to do that. But we'll see if we get a good crowd tonight. But anyway, as always, real quick, the housekeeping we need to go through since we got some people on. Autocorrect, please double check your autocorrect before you hit send. If I can't make out your comment, I will skip it. If you're on the Nobody Show page on Facebook, I cannot see those comments. This is a shared video from the Nobody Else's Auto page. You will need to be on the Nobody Else's Auto page or the Nobody Show YouTube channel to comment. If you want to hang out and watch on the Nobody Show Facebook page, perfectly fine, but I cannot see those comments. Trolls, obviously, you guys make sure they're not welcome. They know they're not welcome. I ignore them, and you guys do a good job running them off. Super chats are awesome. I love when you guys throw up a super chat that you feel that strongly enough about what we're doing that it's worth your while. And throw a share out there. Let your friends know that we are on tonight, at least for a while. So, but anyway, live vicariously through me. Well, I don't know if that's very good or not, but Sean loves old cars and cigars. Mark says we got to do some auctions. Well, we'll see what happens. We'll see how things roll. But keep that up there. But anyway, like I said, we'll do a promo model. We'll do some badges and emblems. And we'll see how things go. We'll talk a little bit about the raffle and stuff like that. But moving along into the promo model, since we didn't have a lot of chat stuff to talk about tonight, obviously the big auctions are all over now. So got a little bit of a break there before we get into some more auctions and see how things are going in the market. Although Maple Brothers is next weekend. Maple Brothers in Oklahoma City is next weekend. I'm not planning on going, but we'll have some results to talk about from there as well. Tonight's promo model, kind of a cool one. It's a station wagon. Station wagons are always cool. This is the 1961 Ford Country Sedan. It's kind of a seafoam green, so I thought, well, I'm going to look it up and see what this light minty green was actually called in 1961. So I Googled 1961 Ford colors and brought up a whole screen of color chips and started looking through it, trying to figure out what the flashy, fancy name for this kind of minty, soft, light green was in 61. David W. even likes the color. And this kind of minty light green in 1961 was called, I guess for lack of a better term, Ford green. That's literally what I found on the color chips. This was called Ford green in 1961. It is minty soft. That's right. Grill and bumper all intact on this one, not busted up. Same thing with the back, intact. All original tires, wheels, and hubcaps on this one. Does have a little bit of warpage, like a lot of these things did have. This is one that creme de menthe. That's right. Tony said his dad had a real wagon just like that. It is kind of minty fresh. It does kind of make you feel minty fresh. That's true. But this is one where this had the chassis, which was most of these promos, the chassis is just molded in. There's not a lot of detail to it. However, this is one that does have a lot of writing on it. I don't know if you can even make it out. It's awful small. I'll read some of it to you as far as some of the points they were trying to make there. I think you guys can kind of make some of it out. But some of these, and in fact, it's so hard to read against the light green against the light green that I always got to use a flashlight on it. This is a Hubley. And some of the interesting things that I saw on this thing, like right up here next to the oil pan, it actually says cleans its own oil, 4,000 miles between oil changes. I thought that was extremely weird. How does it clean its own oil? Then I had to remember, we have to take ourselves back to 1961. Because in 1961, oil filters were relatively new. If you remember, it was the mid-50s before oil filters really started to become a thing. Anything before that, they were an add-on accessory type deal. You literally saw the canister mounted up beside the engine. It was literally a complete separate add-on accessory. The first V8 Chevrolets, the 265s and 55s, did not have an oil filter. So you got to remember, this was in this is 1960 when they're designing all this stuff, getting the promotionals ready, and they had to advertise that it cleaned its own oil. Well, that was a fairly new thing in 1961, which is kind of crazy to think about. That's right, Bill. It is a Hubley. As it says, the 1961 Ford, beautifully built to take care of itself. Wide contoured safety type frame. Adjusts its own brakes automatically. 3 times normal muffler life. So, galvanized rocker panels. All kinds of weird stuff. Big Job had that car in white. Raymond wasn't even alive in 1960. He didn't even know his parents were alive in 1960. But yeah, the oil filter, that caught me off guard. It took a second when it said cleans its own oil. I literally had to stop and think, okay, what was the deal here? How does it clean its own oil? Everything has a filter. Back then, not everything had a filter. By 60, it was pretty common by 1960, but 5 years before that, a lot of stuff did not have an oil filter. Eloy made it. So that's something to think about, when you put that into perspective. This car does have a little bit of slight warpage to it, but not bad. Not near as bad as some of them that we've seen. It does have, I don't know if you can see in there, a detailed interior. You can see the steering wheel. You can see the molding on the door panels. We can see you can see the windshield has a little bit of warp to it where it's not quite up in the groove anymore. But overall, a pretty nice promo. Not busted up, not chipped up, slight warpage, but good color on the Ford Green 1961 Ford Country Sedan Station Wagon. David W. 62 was the first year for a full flow spin on oil filter on a Studebaker V8. So there again, just like we talked about, this was pretty new technology. For the oil filters were not commonplace at that point. Kind of crazy to think about. So, neat piece, obviously. Whoa, if I don't bust it. Neat piece. Obviously, I'm a big fan of wagons. The wagon's okay, but we did knock the Auburn badge off, but it's okay. We've got it too. That's right, Randy. For 62 years old, it looks pretty good. It does not say tire size on here, I don't think. It actually does say, oh, the tires actually do have letters on them. Does not say a size. I don't know if it's listed on the bottom specs as far as tire size. It does not. However, if you can see, the tires actually do say Hubley on them. I doubt you can make it out. You can see the lettering in them right down here, and those actually say Hubley on them. Mark 62 Impala had a canister oil filter. Let's see. So, doesn't say the tire or the wheel size, but kind of interesting that it actually has original Hubley tires on it, on the 1961 Ford Country Sedan Station Wagon, tonight's promo models. That's right, Ken. There's a lot of great knowledge on here, that's for sure. Everybody shares their knowledge, and that's why this is called a chat, because it's all of us coming together, and we all learn from it. Big Job said 15 inches what they would have had from the factory, so. Nope, that's the other cat scratching around over there. Not great, kitty. Hudson badge. Speaking of badges, let's move on to the badge section for tonight. As always, we'll start off with a pre-war badge, then we'll work our way up to a post-war badge. Raymond likes the mint green. Yeah, it is neat. Mint green, and they did a lot of two-tones with the mint green back in the late 50s and 60s. So, it looks pretty good. But our pre-war badge tonight, and this is a great one, and this is kind of an interesting one. I've only got one of them out tonight. They use this badge from my research from, of course, the greatest website for badges I've ever found, American Auto Emblems. That this badge was used, this style of badge was used from 1917 through 1925. However, there were various different styles. There was the same style, but slight variations in different badges. I don't know if it was manufacturers or what on the differences in them. But this basic style with a few slight differences was used from 1917 to 1925 on your Dodge Brothers vehicles. This particular one has a little bit of chipping up top. This has a light blue background around the earth, dark blue DB for Dodge Brothers, black around the perimeter here, obviously black and white on the triangles here. This was a pressed-on badge, like many of these were, to press it onto the radiator grill shell. This is a highly detailed badge. These are a highly sought after badge because of their details and colors. This particular badge is about 2 1/8 in diameter. Now, some of these, like I said, there were different variations in some of these, and I don't know if it was different manufacturers, but there were some of these where instead of the land masses being silver, they were gold. There were some that the DB was black instead of dark blue. So there was some slight variations in the light blue in the different badges from different manufacturers. So looks like Freemasons. Yeah. Yeah, I've got, I think, 3 different styles of this badge that all are essentially the same thing with some very minor differences. So basically 17 to 25, but 3 or 4 different styles of, not, I shouldn't say styles, 3 to 4 variations of this style of badge. So it's a pretty neat piece. Like I said, I didn't think about it until I was getting set up tonight and about ready to go. One night we'll get all of them out and we'll kind of compare some of the differences between at least the couple that I've got, where we can actually look and see where the variations are on this piece. Now, as usual, we step it up a few decades after that. We're going to give you an Auburn badge. I got to get caught up, man. Gary was on me. I was slipping on it. I got to keep you guys up to speed on badges. But we're going to step up a few decades, and we're going to keep with the station wagon theme for the next badge. But we're going to switch brands. The next badge we're going to check out, and this is a cool font that was only used for 1 year, I think, on the 1960 Chevrolet Parkwood station wagon. I've actually got a Parkwood in the yard, but this is not off that car. This was just an extra badge I came up with in a box of emblems. This mounted on the front fender. I think this font was 60 only, so it's not a very common piece. This one's obviously in great shape with nice bright chrome. Studs are intact. It's got a little bit of a bow to it, but it basically mounts flat. But you can see the shine on this thing, considering once again, it's 63 years old, basically. And like I said, this mounted on the front fender, so it had to be big enough to be visible. And it is 11 3/4. Yeah, it is in great shape. 11 3/4 inches long. Now, Chris, this is a 60. 62 was a different font on the emblems. So this one was off of a 60 front fender. So almost a foot long on the Parkwood Chevrolet emblem. So they had different variations of wagons. They even still had, I think in 60, they even still had a Nomad Impala wagon was the fancy one. I think they had it in 60. So, but like I said, anything wagon is cool. Wagons were overlooked for so many years that it's super cool to see them coming back, because there were so many neat station wagons out there that were so underappreciated and almost forgotten about over the years. So excited to see the wagon popularity coming back. Kenny's here with us. Chris agrees, he loves wagons too. So the 1960 Chevy Parkwood front fender emblem, hard to find piece and a pretty cool piece. Of course, anything that's wagon specific is always cool. So Travis is here. That's right, Raymond. Shout out. Brookwood was a Corvair wagon. They made a full size Brookwood wagon as well. They did use Brookwood on full size as well. So, but this one was the Parkwood, same as the one I've got in the yard. Scott had a 61 Nomad. Yeah, the Nomad wagons in the early 60s, obviously the 55 to 57 Nomads were, the fancy two-door wagons, but they carried that name through into the early 60s, but they made them they were just a regular four-door wagon, but they were the top of the line four-door wagon that they still called the Nomad in that window. So, but anyway, that's what we've got tonight for badges and emblems, the 1917 through 1925 era Dodge Brothers, as well as the 1960 Chevy Parkwood station wagon. And a Hudson badge. John's here. Brian Dispatch Buddy has a loaded 69 Kingswood Estate. Yep. And that's what Kingswood was, kind of what took the place of the Nomad wagon as being the fancy one eventually. So, but anyway, like I said, we were going to do a shorter episode tonight. So we're going to go ahead and talk about the raffle, see who got into that, talk about some new inventory, and probably go ahead and wrap up here, fairly early tonight. Yes, they did make this a Chevelle-based Nomad as well, Classic Ride Society. I don't know that I saw a Nomad on a van, but yes, they did use Nomad on some Chevelle wagons in the late 60s, early 70s. You are correct in that as well. So thanks for bringing that up. Anyway, the raffle. We'll talk about the raffle tonight. See who got in and start showing you a few little bits and pieces. Now, if you remember correctly, we're doing a surprise box raffle this month. 3 different sizes of boxes. They will be sealed up when we give them away. But somebody come up with the idea of showing you guys some tidbits. So we talked about, we'll show you some tidbits. We're not going to show everything, but we'll show you some tidbits. I've just been dumping everything into one big box is what I've been doing. So I haven't even finished sorting them. I will still find more. Yep, Jeff, you missed the promo. We'll show it to you real quick. But so I'm going to show you a few things that are starting to go into the raffle boxes. I do not have them all put together yet. There's the promo tonight, Jeff, the 1961 Ford Country sedan wagon in the really catchy color of Ford green. That's what it's called, Ford green. Nope, Gray Kitty is not in the box. So there's the promo real quick. So who's in the raffle? And what is in the raffle? Good question. So, like I told you, we're going to have small, medium, and large. Obviously, first name out of the can is going to get large. Second one out of the can is going to get medium. Third one out of the can is going to get small. But what's going to be going in them? Like I said, I've been piling things. Roger's here with us. Michael sold his 71 Nomad wagon in 2022. So you're without a Nomad wagon. But what have I been dumping in these boxes? I don't want to give away everything. I'm going to make sure there are some surprises in there for our winners. We're going to give these away March 5th is the date we chose. March 5th is going to be the drawings. We did have several of you get in already this week. I know more of you are coming as far as getting into the raffle. So we will have license plates, of course. There will be at least a license plate or two in the big box for sure. Nomad van was half passenger, half cargo. That I don't know. I don't remember the Nomad van, so don't know a lot about that one. We also have some magazines, like this super cool Popular Mechanics, where you're going to get an owner's report on Chryslers and Hudsons. Right across the top. Owner's report, Chrysler and Hudson. So we're going to have some cool stuff like that. We're going to have some toys. Like I said, we're just getting started. I am in no way, shape, or form done with these boxes. I'm working on them. I'll probably work on them up to that week. And then I'll pack them that weekend before we give them away. Because if I see something cool that I think is going to be worth throwing in, I'm going to throw it in. We're going to have cans. Yep. There's going to be cans. There's going to be some cool packaging. Like some of these plugs that we did, like the auto light with the Ford GT on the box. More cans. So, we're getting a good start. So, we'll keep mixing some things in. Like I said, it's I'm not going to show everybody everything, but some of you guys said give you some hints. You guys want to have some idea of what is going to pop up. I don't know which boxes all that stuff's going to end up in. I don't know. No, the Dick Tracy car is not going to be in a box. I can assure you of that. But I'll keep working on them. We'll give you a few tidbits every week as we kind of work up to it. There are some things that I'm not going to show anybody that's going to be a surprise for the winners. But like I said, now there probably won't be $100 in each box either, Bill. This thing would have to sell like a ton of tickets, like about 3 times as many tickets as we usually sell to justify that. So if we sell 3 times as many tickets as we usually sell, then I could put $100 in each box. But unless we get kind of to that level, probably not going to happen. But we'll give you a Hudson badge. But who's in? Oh. Ken's having fun tonight. Glad you're having fun, Ken. We're starting to get a few names in here. Some names that probably look familiar to some of you guys. Let me get my fat thumb out of the way. So who's already started in there? I'll just keep everybody guessing. Well, like I said, I want you to have some idea of what's going to be there in there because I want you to be comfortable buying tickets. But I don't want to put like the whole cat out of the bag because that's kind of what makes it fun. The last time we did surprise boxes, the last time we did surprise boxes, everybody seemed really happy with them. So that was fun and everybody liked it. So thought we'll try it. Mark said $100 in Monopoly money. That could be possible. So, yep, I understand, Kenneth. I'm glad you're here hanging out with us, though. But who's in tonight? As always, every week I go through who got into the raffle, mainly because I want to make sure that if you think you got in and I don't read your name off, you can get a hold of me and we can get it figured out before the raffle. So this week, who is in? Not you, Gray Kitty. Meow. You're not in the raffle. You're looking in the raffle can, but you're not in there. You going to jump in the raffle can? Hey, dum-dum. Okay. Who's in this week? Who's in for the first week? Johnny Z is in. Norma is in. Jason Withrow. Manly James. Zach Thompson. Alec Blanchett. Big Job. And Bill Klopfenstein. I don't know. Klopfenstein. Bill, I'm sure I butchered your name. I apologize, but I got you in the raffle. So, anyway, those guys are already into the can right now. Like I said, we've got a few weeks to go on this one. We usually run these all right at about a month. So, March 5th, we're going to give this thing away. We've still got 3 weeks on this raffle. I'm going to keep filling these boxes up. Great Kitty's over there looking at the boxes. I'm the Wolfman Jack of the show. Well, thanks, Ken. Appreciate that. But this box here that I've been piling stuff in will be the grand prize box. It is 16 by 12 by 8, dimension-wise. So that kind of gives you an idea of what we've got going for the raffle. So, $1 a chance. PayPal, friends and family, check, money order, Western Union, whatever works. A lot of you guys I know added to the raffle, to your auction winnings. But what the heck, if you want to just get in, just get in. We're going to give those boxes away and ship those out to the winners after the drawing on March the 5th. Hudson badge. So, how's everybody doing? Everybody hanging out, having a good time? Anything we want to do different? We want to keep moving on to inventory and things like that. So, like I said, did not plan a long episode tonight. And we are obviously way down on viewers tonight from what we typically are. So, and that's understandable. There's a lot of stuff going on. I understand that. The big game's on. I'm sure it's probably exciting. Brian wants auctions. I hadn't planned auctions just because I didn't figure we were going to have a lot of people on tonight. So Bill says it's the no fun league. What are you doing, kitty? Hey. Great kitty. I found a whole stack of baseball cards in a car that I hauled in a few weeks ago. They're over there. I've been sorting through them. Gray Kitty's over there checking them out. She can't figure out what this stack of baseball cards is. So, just under 2 square feet of prize goodness. That's a good way to put it, Randy. Anyway, but what did I pick up this week, new inventory wise? Yeah, 41 viewers. Considering the game's on, that's pretty good. But obviously, way down from where we typically are at this point in the show. So. But I am glad you guys swung by and hung out for a while tonight. Kevin can't stand any sports. Yeah, I'll watch a little bit, but very little. I don't watch much at all. In my area, since I'm in Kansas, the Chiefs are on the radio on Sunday afternoons when I'm working in the shop, so I usually hear that. But I don't stop, and I really don't stop and watch anything. Do I buy most inventory locally in Kansas? Yes, most of my inventory does come from right here in Kansas. One, I don't have time to go much further than that. And then the other thing is where I'm located in Kansas is just right about smack dab in the middle. So, it's 2.5 hours minimum to a state line for me. So most of it comes from Kansas because even if it's something that's an hour or two away, it's still in central Kansas for me because I'm pretty much right smack in the middle. So Michael's a fan of the Chevy Loves. Yep, those were neat. Leo says we're all winning because we're having a great time. Good idea. This is better than anything on TV. Well, thanks, Brian. Appreciate that. But so yeah, most of my stuff comes from around here. If I buy something, and I can usually tell if I buy something that's, something shows up that's super rusty, I know it probably didn't come from here originally. I've had people that will, bring stuff in to trade in. I have guys that do that. They say, I'm coming anyway. I've got this other old car or truck that I don't need. Can I bring it and trade it in for some vendors or something? So I do have stuff that comes in from outside the state. But that doesn't happen very often, but I do have that. That definitely does happen sometimes. So what are you doing, cat? Scratching the folders. She's sure intrigued by something over there. Hey. Yeah, you. So anyway. What did I pick up this week? I picked up some newer stuff and one older car, but I did pick up one weirdo that's not very old. The airplane, I'm hoping in the next few weeks. We went out and looked at it this week. That is another thing that we did get done this week. I got a buddy who's got a medium duty rollback, a Peterbilt rollback. So we went out. He was in town. He lives about an hour away. He was in town. So we went out and did some measuring, kind of looked at some different ideas how he thinks he can slide that bed back and then slowly tilt it up. And we may have to put like some blocks or something under it and slowly tilt that thing up. And I think we can get almost the whole belly of the plane. It's going to hang over some, but it's not going to be too bad. So I think we can get that thing picked up and slid on the back of that rollback and then take back roads most of the way out to the yard. So I'm hoping in the next couple of weeks we're going to have some content showing you an airplane move. Hopefully. I want to get that thing out there. But so that is still on the agenda. But I did pick up, like I said, this week was mainly newer stuff. Do it at night, that wouldn't be very good. I want to see what's going on. It's 15 feet wide, and that's as wide as we can be without, because the wings are off of it. And you can be 15 feet without being technically oversized, and that's what we've got. So we better do it during the day. But as far as this week inventory, I run all Dodge pickups, and I actually had a chance to buy a couple of Dodge pickups this week. So I went ahead and bought them just because it's what I run. An 03 and a 2014 3/4 ton gassers. They're both rough, but I run all Dodge pickups. So I always like having extra Dodge pickups around in case you need something. But I did pick up a weirdo. It's not that old yet, but it is a weirdo. I'm going to keep it just for the simple fact that I don't have any Dodge dudes at all. Those are cool, but I don't have any of them. Plan to get any vids from your buddy Mike's tractor collection? Yes, I would like to do that. I'm trying to. Actually, I talked to him the other day because I'm trying to get out there. He bought a new shop this year, and I keep wanting to go out and see his shop. So I talked to him this week and said I want to try to get out there in the next few weeks and see his new shop. So I would like to get some videos with some of his tractors, because he's got some killer tractors, and that dude knows tractors cold. I mean, VIN numbers, and just rattles that stuff off. He's got more tractor toys, more tractor literature. It's insane. I mean, it's not. I mean, 99% of the time I'll find a toy tractor, send him a picture of it, and say, I've got it in the box, no big deal. So light it with some LEDs and look cool at night. Yeah, it would look cool at night. So, but yeah, maybe we'll be getting some tractor videos from Mike's place. Mike, looking for a Chevy 350 automatic transmission. There's tons of different ones. I don't have anything that I would know anything about condition wise. So yeah, I'm going to try, Brian. I do want to get, I think it would be neat to get some stuff with Mike and his tractors, because that guy knows that stuff so freaking well. Are Dodge pickups 80s, early 90s worth anything? Those are starting to get a pretty good following. So yeah, and that body style. Well, basically 73 to 93 was that body style. So, yeah, those trucks are starting to get a pretty good following too. Of course, all that stuff from the 70s and 80s is getting a pretty good following. So, Freddie finally got on. I'm glad you made it, Freddie. We are going to do an abbreviated version tonight due to the big game being on, but we're still hanging out for a little while. But anyway, back to the weirdo. Like I said, I'm going to keep it just for the simple fact that one of these days somebody may think that whether they get a cult following or something like that, but they were not so affectionately known as one of the ugliest cars ever produced in recent history. Obviously, the Pacers and the Gremlins and things like that, Pintos, a lot of people looked at those that way back in the 70s, and all those cars kind of have cult followings now. And I don't know if this is going to be one of those cars or not, but I went in and picked it up and drug it in. And you're right, number one, boom, knew exactly where I was going. The Pontiac Aztek. That's right, Gary. We are on Super Bowl. We are here even though the big game's on, we are here. But we are doing a shortened version tonight. We are doing an abbreviated version because I know a lot of people are watching the game. So, yep, you can watch us and the game at the same time, Gary. But, yep, we're here. Pete got it. Yep, I picked up a Pontiac Aztek for whatever that's worth. the motor went bad in it, so the car isn't crashed or beat up or anything other than typical dings and dents. But not the most attractive thing. But who knows? It's one of those deals. They were almost weird enough, and they were definitely ugly enough. Who remembers the Aztek tents? They didn't have a tent for the Aztek. You like open up the back and like set your tent up off the back of your Aztek or something like that. I don't remember. Yeah, they were front wheel drive. Aztek was born out of the Pontiac Stinger design exercises. I don't know. I'm not really sure what it was born out of, but it wasn't a pretty situation. So it's different. Yep, I did buy one older one. It wasn't. Throwing Spark says it was a dealer option. That's what I thought. I thought you could get the tent for the Aztek. Mark agrees they were pretty ugly. But there again, that's what everybody said about Gremlins and Pacers, and they have their own little cult following now too. So I'm going to hold on to it. Who knows? I mean, worst case scenario, you can always crush it down the road if nobody ever wanted it, but it's different. Sean's a 59 Chevy pickup fan. Yep. Brian Dispatch agrees. They were like Pacers. Classic ride sizes runs across so many Azteks and junkyards. And so, like I said, who knows? Like I said, worst case scenario, you can crush it down the road. But for the time being, and they're again throwing sparks. That's exactly right. That's exactly what's happened to the Pacers and the Gremlins. They're so ugly, they're cool. That might happen to an Aztek. Might not either, but it might. You never know. But I've got one now, so we'll process it, put her out in the row, and see if anybody ever needs any parts for an Aztek. The Lumina vans were horrible. I've got some of those. I've actually got a Lumina. I've got a Silhouette. I do not have a Transport. I've got a Lumina and a Silhouette, but I do not have the Pontiac Transport. So I do have a few of those Lumina vans as well. That there again, I kept them for the exact same reason. You never see them anymore. So if you do need a light for one or something like that, where are you ever going to find it? Brian will be valuable somewhere or another. Yeah, probably. K-Car Shadows, Lasers, Magic Wagons, and the next Mopar collectibles. I agree with that, number one. I have kept the few K-Cars that I've come up with, including some convertibles. Lasers, Daytonas, I think absolutely are going to be collectible. I've got friends that had them in high school. I got a buddy that he's got an AAR CUDA, a real deal AAR CUDA. He just built a Warlock with a 6.2 crate Hemi and a 6-speed in it. But he had a laser when we were in high school. Was his a laser? I think this was a Daytona. And he's like, man, I'd like to find another one. Can't find him. He found a lime green AAR CUDA and built it, but he can't find a Daytona like he had when we were in college and high school. Lumina had a 1-year only front end. I think they made those for a few years, actually. They did look like a door wedge, though, that's for sure. Honda Element is pretty god-awful as well, Frank, that's for sure. These Daytonas were the 80s, the little ones from the 80s is what we're talking about. So you're allowed to stack those cars. I think they did make those maybe in an all-wheel drive. I know they had the Shelby ones in the mid-80s. So the Edsel of Pontiac, that's another good way to put it. But yeah, they did run Daytonas in pro stock as well. That's another thing that, back in the Wayne County Dodge days, they were in Daytonas. I remember that when they were running pro stock back in the late 80s, early 90s with those cars. Withrow, I've seen places hoarding Daytonas and lasers. I would buy them if I can find them. I've only had one. I actually had a Shelby Daytona, but a guy that I know here in town used to own it, and he wanted it back pretty bad, so I traded it back to him. I really would have liked to have kept it, but he used to own it, and he really wanted it back. So, Classic Ride Society, I think if anything, it'll be rear-wheel drive vans. I think those are already starting to come on. Are you talking like Astros and the Astro vans and the Aerostars were rear-wheel drive? Are those the ones we're talking about, Classic Ride Society? Because I think you're right there as well, because I'm starting to see some Astro stuff starting to happen. The Previa, I actually want a Toyota Previa. I hate Toyotas, but I want a Toyota Previa. because that was the one that looked like a June bug. It looked like a roly poly. It like the curve like never stopped. I want one of those because I want to pick one end of it up with a loader and flip it over and see if it will keep rolling. So I actually would like to get one of those Toyota vans just to see how many times if it'll keep going over like a bug will, like a roly poly. Custom vans from the 70s are definitely cool. Yeah, front wheel drive cars racing rear wheel drive. That was always kind of weird, kind of a weird deal. But so yeah, hopefully I can find a Previa van because I really would like to do that with one. Like put a fork under the rear bumper and get it like all the way up, raise it all the way up with one fork in the rear bumper towards like standing on the nose, and then shove it over and see if it will keep going like a roly poly. Okay, that's right. Classic right side. The 80s, 90s rear wheel drive minivans. Ford Aerostar, Chevy Astro. I think you're right because I'm starting to see some of that stuff come back. Mini trucks coming back strong. That's another good point as well, Jason. So Aerostars, Tempos, and Tauruses. I think the SHO Tauruses for sure. Tempos. A lot of people drove Tempos in school. What do we want? What reminds you of the good times when you were younger? I don't see those. I don't see them getting stupid, but I see them coming back. Tempos. All that little stuff like the Daytonas, the Lasers, the Grand Ams, Pontiac Grand Ams were everywhere. They made a gajillion of them. You don't ever see one. There's a dealer in Kansas City that's got a real low mileage, like 90 Grand Am. They want like 23 grand for it. Find another one. When's the last time you've seen a nice, clean little Grand Am like that? They self-destruct up in Brian's area. Yeah, that's for sure. Oh, then blow it up after we roll it over. Okay. I'm good with that. I need to put those clips together. We did blow up a bunch of Toyotas for several years in a row on 4th of July, so I need to put that video together one of these days. Outcast Projects is here tonight. They must not have made many of those mid-engine Toyota vans the generation before the Previa. Must not be. I don't know. Mark's got a pair of Newell stock aerials for a 60 G20 series of a Chevy van. Yeah, I think the van stuff is going to continue to tick along. I've picked a few up, so I'm kind of a fan. I think they're going to be worth having. At least for me, if nothing else, they're great storage. I can always fill them with more junk. So Cutlass Sierra, exactly. Another good point. All those little cars like that, are they going to be worth $1 million? No. But are they going to have a following? Absolutely. Look at the little Cutlass Sierra 442s, the little quad 4s. Those were kind of a neat little car. They weren't fast, but they were, for the time, somewhat sporty. Throwing Sparks bought my son's an 03 Extreme. Yeah, those were neat little trucks too. The little Extreme S10s, lowered ground effects, wheels, kind of neat little things. So Outcast Tempo was the first thing I was ever allowed to drive. Yep. And there again, that's what people are going to remember. You still remember that to this day. That's right. Ford isn't even making cars except for the Mustang anymore. So anyway, we added an Aztec to the collection. So we'll see if anybody ever wants anything off of it. But we'll get her processed, get the fluids drained, and get her sit out in the row and let her sit there and see what happens. See if history repeats itself with vehicles that are deemed to be the ugliest of their era, whether they make a comeback. For the most part, pretty much everything always does. It does come back around. We're seeing it right now with Pacers and Gremlins. We'll see if we see it with Aztecs down the road. Early 90s square Dakotas. Are they collectible? They look kind of nice, especially the shorties. I have not seen that market starting to tick up yet, but I think it will. That era of Dakota, they were too late for the mini truck movement because they didn't come out with that truck until like 87 or 88. And the guys that were doing mini trucks at that point, they were already starting with stuff that was a little bit earlier than that. So you didn't see a lot of them in the mini truck movement. I've seen a few of the convertible Dakotas recently. They did not do a lot on the auction block, but I think that they made that in a Shelby as well. So I think those trucks will have collector value in the future. I've got a few of them that I've picked up, and there again, I'm going to hold on to them and save them because I think that there will be a future for those as well. and as even the 97-03 Dakotas as well, because you got to remember the 97-03 Dakota, you could get the 5.9 RT as well as in a Durango. I actually had a 5.9 RT for a company car for a while. I had a Durango 5.9 RT for a company car that, so those were pretty neat. The 5.9 Grand Cherokee, that's when Chrysler was trying to put some spice back into some of that stuff, some of the regular stuff as opposed to what they were cranking out with the Viper. But the 5.9 RT Dakotas, I think, are absolutely going to have a following. And I think the Square Dakotas are going to be good as well. I agree. Number one, the Beretta was definitely an unsung car. Took off the fest of the rental market to battle the Cavalier Z24. The Z24 Cavaliers, I think, are neat little cars. I think the Berettas were definitely a car that I would almost guarantee we're going to see it come back on to a certain extent. It's tough to find a good Beretta. They had a heck of a following back in the day. They were a pretty sharp little car. So, yeah, I agree with that completely. The Breaking Bad cars in the movie car collection, I don't even know what the Breaking Bad car is, Outcast. I don't watch a lot of TVs or movies. I'm not sure what that one is. Mid-size truck in the small truck market with a full-size engine, the Dodge Dakota. That's exactly what it was. So, and you agree with me on the RT Series Dakotas for sure. So, my connections seem to be solid, Mark. I'm not getting, other than I always get error messages on Facebook, but that's pretty much par for the course. But I'm not getting any feed errors on YouTube at all, Mark. Tweedledee said he did have a lagging problem. Kevin's got a little bit. So, I've not seen the new Hornet RT. Outcast bought it one Dakota, didn't think there's good enough market to fix it. So Withrow's good on feed. So I'm not sure. I'm not getting any error messages on my end. So hopefully it keeps ticking along. But anyway, Dodge pickups, an Aztek, and I did pick up another 62 Impala this week. It's rough. Don't get me wrong. It is rough. But it is a four-door hardtop. So it is kind of unique. 62 Impala four-door hardtop came in this week, so we'll be getting some content on that as well. That's right, number one. Beretta was used as a pace car one year. Those almost always have a market. That's true. Except maybe the Oldsmobile Aurora. I think the Oldsmobile Aurora will have a following. That car was so unique. I've got one, I think, in the yard. Definitely holding on that car. Because that Aurora was when you look back at that time frame, that Aurora was a pretty radical car. So, no, Gray Kitty's sitting right over there, minding her own business for once. So she's not eating the cables. Got Mark's hopes up. So, I do not have any Riatas, Bill. That's another car I wouldn't mind having a Riata personally. Have never owned a Riata. Dad's never had a Riata. I wouldn't mind having one. So kind of always kind of keep my eyes peeled. If I can find a decent one at a decent price, I wouldn't mind having one. Outcast going to big auction tomorrow. You going all 3 days or just tomorrow? So I was going to look at the stuff for Tuesday and Wednesday. So yeah, I'm not going to make it out to that one. Freddie finds decent. Freddie says any decent small truck's far hard to find where he lives. So we'll be bringing you some content on the 62 Impala, the Dodge pickups, and the Aztek. I probably won't worry about, but it's going to be here. So we're going to get you some more video shot this week as well. I got to get some content. I've still got some stuff in the can, but man, I've got a lot of stuff that I've picked up recently that I haven't even shot videos on yet that I need to get done, so I can start showing you guys some of this new inventory that's been coming in and keeping everybody up to speed on what is coming in. You know, the 69 Charger video is shot, but I haven't posted it yet. 64 Buick, 76 Le Mans Sport Coupe, of course, the Impala. So, 49 Chevy pickup, 64 Corvair, 69 Riviera. So we got a lot of stuff coming up there yet as well. Brian's ready for more Cadillac videos. Hopefully we're going to have another Cadillac video this week of driving it. And then once we drive after that, we'll give you another good walk around on that car. One thing that we had not done up to this point, which we are into now, was the trunk. We had never gotten into the trunk of that car. So we're into the trunk now because we had to, because there were some of the pieces were in the trunk, fortunately. But we found some cool stuff in the trunk as well. So we're gonna bring you a full good walk around, check out, take her for a spin, kick the tires, and then look in the trunk of the 39 Cadillac as well. So hopefully, if we don't get it this week, we should definitely have it the week after next. But that video will be coming as well. I'm going to try, and I know some of you guys have been hanging out with us for a while, and I know it's been 3 years ago now or whatever. I bought the small yard on the north side of me that had been sitting there tied up in a state for decades. I actually still have a few more videos to shoot in there. I'm going to try to get those done this week. I'm not going to get them all up right away, but I do want to try to get that stuff finished up, plus all this new inventory shot. Riata, Trofeo, Eldorado cars are hard to find because the seats are so trash. People junk the whole car. And that's another good point, though, that Eldorado, especially the 92 to what? Or 90, the 93, I think, is when they switch that body style on the Eldorado. I think those cars are already starting to tick up. 93 to like 02 Eldos. I already see those two cars starting to come up a little bit. Dad's got a really nice 99 Eldorado, and I think I've seen some of those at Mecum, and we are starting to see that market slowly starting to ratchet back up on that 92 or 93 to about 02 or 03 Eldorado. Those were a great looking car. Throughout the 90s, that design was outstanding, and I think those cars are going to be worth grabbing if you can find a good one and holding on to. So I think those are going to continue to tick up. Scott had a further Dakota Shelby. Yep, I remember those. Roger knew somebody with 62 four-door hardtop, so he's familiar with those cars as well. 55 or 56 Chrysler or DeSoto wagon for parts. Gary, I've got a 55 DeSoto wagon, but it's pretty much a complete car. Somebody swiped the grill out of it, I'm sure, to put in a custom. But otherwise, that car is pretty much intact. So I may part it out if you needed enough stuff to justify it, but I was planning on selling that car intact because you get a grill out of anything, a four-door or anything, and have the grill. But I do have a 55 DeSoto wagon in stock right now. Nope, there were no bodies in the trunk. That trunk is actually fairly small, but we did find some cool stuff in there. So we'll be showing that with you. But nope, no bodies. So we were good there. So, yeah, I don't know. It depends on what you need, Gary. But you can give me a shout. We can go over the details of what you need and see if there's something we can figure out. So, Brian dispatches boss's low mileage 79 Bronco completely burned in a garage fire. Oh, wow, that sucks. Number one agrees those Eldos are pretty sweet. They had plastic on the body line down, so they were fairly rust-free. So, yeah, I'm a firm believer that Eldorado is going to be a car worth holding on to. So anyway, that's kind of what I had for tonight. Like I said, we would do an abbreviated episode this evening. Jump on, hang out for a while. You guys didn't want to skip, but I knew with the big game going on, we were going to be down on viewers, and we definitely are down on viewers. Not quite in half, but fairly significantly down on viewers from where we typically are. So I'm going to go ahead and start working towards a wrap-up here, and I'll keep an eye on comments as we move forward and get ready to wind things down. We will be live Tuesday night. That's right. Yep, there's a game on Outcast. But we will plan on doing Toy Tuesday live Tuesday night. I've got some stuff stacked up that we need to get to on toys and cans and all kinds of cool stuff. I do not have I've got some 60. I've got a 66 and a 68 Falcon, but nothing that's intact. So I don't think we can help Mark out there. But Freddie's working on a 29 Dodge Brothers. If anyone has a lead on where you can get parts for that, I do not have any 29 Dodge Brothers in stock. So if anybody has any ideas on where they can send Freddie on 29 Dodge stuff, might be able to help him out. Roger's going to sign off. Glad you were there. But been a good time tonight, even though, like I said, we were going to run an abbreviated episode. Bill still wants auctions. I think we'll just hold off till next week. Like I said, we'll just keep piling those boxes full. It'll be a lot more fun, a lot more exciting next week. I know we'll have a few more people back on with us and get ready to wind things down. But like I said, I've got some more cool videos coming up this week. We will do Toy Tuesday Live. We will be back on next Sunday night, 7 o'clock for Sunday Night Live Chat. We'll get caught back up on the raffle. I'm going to keep, as I'm walking around, digging through things, I'm going to keep filling boxes. And you guys keep filling the big Buick oil can of names. That's right, Tweedledee D saved money for next week. So, number one, thanks for the continuously entertaining Sundays. Well, I'm glad you enjoy it, number one. NFL doesn't pay his light, that's for sure. Great show, Johnny. I'm still amazed that you guys can even call me Johnny Carson, but I don't think I'm quite at that talent level, but I keep trying to do a good job for you guys. Bill says, Oakley Dokley, we'll see you Tuesday night. Number one says there's some Dodges up in Canada available. Bill this says, thanks for being on. Well, like I said, it was up to you guys. We talked about it over the last couple of weeks, and nobody wanted to just completely skip. But I thought, so we'll get on, hang out for a while. But if we're going to be way down on viewers, I didn't want to exclude people from the auctions and things like that. So we'll get together, hang out, do the basics. Looked like that worked out well tonight. Tony's going to sign off. Jeff's signing off. Kevin's. So with that, I think we'll go ahead and call this one a night. We'll cut it early, just like we planned on doing, and be back next week for a full episode. Randy, reading an article on rising costs of the hobby and Rod and Custom from 1971. The circle just continues. Big Block 402 stopped by. He's working tonight, but he stopped by for a little bit. Glad you swung in here for just a minute. We'll give some more of these badges here. Sunday night tradition. Yep. Mark, see ya. Nobodies. Have a great week. Nobody's for your best entertainment. Well, I'm glad you guys think that highly of what we do here. I do try to do a good job. I do try to put together interesting content. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it and having fun. Tuesday night, we'll do some more cool stuff. I don't know what I'm going to dig out, but for instance, where's the 29s at? Number one's up in Canada, so I don't know exactly where he's at located exactly, but I know he's up in Canada. Tweedledee checks the mail for the items. Perfect. I knew it would be. Wasn't worried about it. Jason going to take a nap. Good. Get healed back up, Jason. Slide a few more of these in for you. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. We'll be ready for next week. Those auction boxes are already about full. I throw stuff in them throughout the week as well. So they're already about full again. And so we'll be really in good shape next week. We'll be ready for that raffle in a few weeks. I'm glad you guys had a good time tonight. I'm glad you guys stopped by, at least hung out for a while, even though the big game was on tonight. We'll see you all Tuesday night, 7 o'clock Central Time for some Toy Tuesday. And definitely hope to see you back here next Sunday night, 7 o'clock Central Standard Time, same bat station for Sunday Night Live Chat. Thanks for watching, everybody. See some of you Tuesday, and definitely see you all back here next Sunday night.